I have another list review for you, and this one was a list sent to me by, where was it? There we go, by Samuel. Um, and Samuel writes, "Hi, I recently found your most awesome YouTube tutorials. Thank you. I have embraced many of your strategies as well. Thank you. Do they work, Samuel? If they do, great. Um, I too am playing Brits, and we have a tournament coming up in a few weeks. I would like to request a review. Yes, um, of course, I'll do a review. It's one of the many things, but it's taken over a lot of this channel. I started out doing reviews of people's lists as a sort of a way to hype one of my own tournaments. But then people sort of liked it, and the channel expanded from there. So um, and yeah, I'll do it. Remember though, remember who I am and what it is that I talk about. Right, I am. Um, I am a competitive player. I play on the Danish national team. I am the captain of that team. Um, I am the current ruling Danish champion. So I come at bold action from a competitive point of view. And most of the things I say are just my opinions based on my expertise, but that's more or less it. I'm not in any way officially hired by Warlord Games to tell you how to play the game. Okay? So, that aside, let's go and watch Samuel's list, shall we? Let me just see where I've got it. I have to share my screen somewhere. There we go. Here we go. So it's a 1250, I guess, 1246 points. So you have just enough points for an extra SMG somewhere, if you can find someone to carry it. 15 order dice. It's in the low end of what I would expect at a 1250 event, but it's still within the framework of what I would want to go with. I would want to go 1516 to 1819 for 1250. Although your pack might change that up if you have rules that have a dice cap or whatever. It's a British reinforced platoon, and it's based on commandos. Lovely. So we have a first lieutenant, inexperienced. Um, I don't really get why you're buying the first lieutenant unless you're better than me at using Snap 2, which you might be. I am really bad at using that rule. Um, he does become more expensive, and I'm not sure the bonuses are worth it. Um, so you could save a few points there, maybe, if you wanted to. I like it though that there's an extra man. It makes him more survivable. Once he's done his snap twos, you could even go 2 extra men and make him a small unit. Then we have commando sections. 9-man rifles, 9-man rifles, commandos. They have the behind enemy lines, and they are tough fighters. These units could actually be assault units. So for me, they're a cross between skirmishers, which I would want in a 6 to 7-man size, and assault troops, which I want in an 7 to 9-man size. And because there are 9 men here, for me, they're sort of a cross between the two. They are very expensive, these commandos. 126 points. Although and you can do a bit of outflanking with them, although it really depends on how much you like outflanking, right? I am not a huge fan myself of outflanking, but you can do it, and because they have rifles, they can come onto the board and have a pretty long range of threat. So nice units. They have a good size. They are really survivable. I think you could get away with cutting them down to 8-man units. save a few points and use them for something extra. The free forward observer has an extra dude. I'm not sure that is needed, but again, it's pretty much the same as when you're doing the lieutenant with an extra man. If you have the points, yes, throw them in. Otherwise, see if you can save the points and buy an extra order dice somehow. Rapid fire as the national special rule. This makes sense in regard to the 9-man units then, right? Because the rapid fire is an extra dice per 3 rifles, and yes, these will benefit these commando skirmishes. Let's watch the rest of the list and see if we can find something better, because I rarely use rapid fire as my national special rule. Then we have a piece of medium artillery. I think you could actually get away with using the light artillery, the 25 pounder. It's pretty good as well, and it's cheaper. So for me, you could go that route. An LRDG armed truck as the armored car. There are other versions here. This one has the light anti-tank gun and a forward-facing MMG. There are other vehicles which has the same capacity at almost the same cost, but are armored. So for me, I would not go with the LRD DG truck. For me, going with an armored car choice, I often run either something very cheap with a lot of machine guns, or something that is actually a tank. This crossover that's a bit of each, I'm not sure I'm a fan of this. And 15 CVT to transport something. I'll get back to this because I don't agree with this 15 CVT truck. And a Steward, the darker version with all the machine guns. Now, the 15 CVT is possibly there to be the transport for your medium artillery. It is not needed. The current fact states that you can bring medium artillery or onto the ball. You can even do it with heavy artillery with a 6-inch move. So there's no reason for this, and it cannot be used for your infantry units. They are too big. So this 15 CVT for me is it's just off. It doesn't really fit anything where it's either not needed or it's too small. Unless you have something in your second platoon that really needs this truck. Second platoon, another first lieutenant, again inexperienced. You have some sort of plan, right? Because this is a lot of snap 2 you can do. Really, a lot of snap 2. And then we have a commando section with submachine guns, really strong choice. And especially because you get the submachine guns for cheaper because you're a tough fighter in advance. These commandos, they really benefit from maybe the transport that I was talking about earlier, because they are an 8-man unit. This has an 8-man transport capacity. There we go. Then the truck might actually have a justification here, because they can go in the truck. Yeah, that works. 8-man, that's 16 shots. That's a lot of submachine gun fire with them coming out. And then an 8-man Gurkha section. They are also very, very strong, and 8-man is I think the way to go with Gurkhas. I've been using Gurkhas for a long time, and I typically run them as 8-man assault groups. You can go down to 5-man units, especially with Gurkha paratroopers, and then stick them in a brain carrier or something. But for an assault section, I think 8-man is good. And for me, I would want to get at least 2 charges out of 8 Gurkhas before they lose so many men that they become ineffective. Then another piece of medium artillery. Again, I think this could be the light artillery. The 25 pounder is pretty good for the Brits. An airborne recce jeep. I love this. I run this in almost all my lists. The twin MMGs, that's really good. Strong choice, strong competitive choice. And here is the second 15 CVT, so both of these units actually have transport. Nice. That is a pretty good push you can make there with all the submachine guns and the Gurkhas getting out, shooting a bit of rifles, and then charging in the next turn. Really well done. And another Dhaka Steward. Right. For me, this is a very strong list, Samuel. I really like it. Um, I still have doubts about the first armored car choice, the LRGG truck, but it does give you a third light anti-tank gun, which might be needed. Yes, especially it depends on your pack, right? If your pack is going to encourage lots of stewards, then yes, having an anti-tank gun is a good idea. Um, but otherwise, I would go with something like the um, airborne recce jeep because it has so many machine gun shots. It's just so useful and very very cheap. The Darker Stewards, we know them, we love them. They are very very good. Um, and with the transport and with your skirmish units, yeah, I really like it. One thing I will note is that you don't have that much infantry for a 1250 platoon, so that might be one of the things that you find lacking at some point. Um, you have two push units and two skirmish units, and that's it. So there might be a problem with that, but not a huge one. You have very strong choices here. Thank you so much for the list, and I will see you in the next review. Cheers.